Wake up, Daddy Sean.
Oh my God!
Yes! Hey, yo!
Okay, let's go.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live!
Yeah.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Welcome to the LUQ-MAN Show. Welcome to the LUQ-MAN Show. Welcome to the LUQ-MAN Show. Welcome to the LUQ-MAN Show.
Okay. Today we're going to talk about collective intelligence. Not artificial intelligence, collective intelligence. We're going to be looking into Michael Levin's ideas. Michael Levin is a professor at Tufts University. We're going to be looking into his ideas, trying to figure out how much of nature is intelligence, how much of reality is intelligent, how much of things that we don't even consider to be alive display intelligence, right? So the first example I want to give is you, yourself. You are made up of trillions of different cells, a bunch of organs, all these individual components that create you. On an individual level, they're smart. You could see intelligence displayed in cells, organs, tissues, but they all make up a collective. They collectively all make up you. You have experience of being one thing, but that's just one sense of looking at us, just like your experience of it. But in reality, there's so many layers of intelligence that comprise you, right? So intelligence isn't exclusive to brains. This is like what we experience as humans. It's our version of it. It exists throughout nature. So the idea I want to give, and I also want to show an illustration of layers of reality and levels of organization, and how each level builds up into the one above it, right? So at the bottom you have atoms, you have molecules, you have cells, you have tissue, organs, the body, you as a person. Then you can even expand upon that. You can go community, city, country, nation, world, solar system, galaxy, universe. So every level of organization, it builds into the one above it, right? And then it just keeps going. It just stacks upon each other. It stacks upon. So at what level in this spectrum can we find intelligence being displayed in nature, right?
You cannot get an intelligent organism, such as a human being, out of an unintelligent universe. That figs do not grow on thistles nor grapes on thorns applies equally to the world. You do not find an intelligent organism living in an unintelligent environment.
So implicit with that idea is, what goes along with that idea is also understanding that the lower levels of organization cannot understand the goals of the higher level of organization. So the molecule will not understand the goals of the cell will not understand the goals of the tissue will not understand the goals of the organ will not understand your goals. So your liver, your kidney, your lungs don't understand that you have a job interview on Monday, you got that fucking hot date, you got things you gotta do, you're gonna get paid, you're gonna go travel. Your lung or your spleen or whatever, your individual organs cannot comprehend your goals. And what I'm saying is, you can go beyond that. You go beyond that and try to figure out what other levels of organization do you exist in. Does that almost have a consciousness or a way of operating like it is one thing? And you cannot almost fathom the goals of that higher level organization. So first I want to go back down into the lower levels of life and reality, using Michael Levin's ideas. So we already know groups of cells are very intelligent. You'll see slime molds that do better than engineers when it comes to designing, let's say, for example, Tokyo and their subways. And they'll just put their nutrients at individual nodes where they want the train stations to be, and incredible efficiency. This is just nature. But before we go on, I want to let you know, how do you detect the mind? How do you detect intelligence, right? There's a concept that Michael Levin likes to use when it comes to the detection tools he uses. How do you detect the mind? There's such a thing as high agency tools and low agency tools. Let me tell you the difference. When you're just observing physical phenomena, let's give you an example, like gravity, right? How do you figure out gravity? You drop something, you figure out the distance, the time. So it's a ruler and a timer. That's low agency tools. You cannot detect a mind with a timer. You cannot detect a mind with a ruler. So there's something called high agency tool. So what he likes to use is cognitive behavior tools like habituation, sensitization, conditioning. Pavlov's conditioning, for example, where he would condition his dog to salivate every time at the ring of a bell, because he would give him food every time I ring a bell, right? So that's how that's learning. That is learning And that can be detected in nature. So what's interesting is, forget the cell. That there's many examples of that. Obviously, we know tissues and organs, all these things above that. We don't have to. It almost goes without saying that those things are intelligent, right? But what he figured out is individual chemical arrangements of chemical molecules. Forget like a cell that's a part of something that's alive itself. It lives, it dies, it respirates, it eats, it defecates, things like that, right? Individual molecules that are way smaller than a cell, right? Even if when arranged in certain ways, he proves that even chemical arrangements can display intelligence.
Learned to associate a neutral stimulus with the actually salient stimulus. And this happens, you don't need a cell for this. You don't need any of the machinery of cells. Just a small collection of chemicals wired appropriately will already give you 5 or 6 different kinds of learning: sensitization, habituation, associative learning, and so on.
Nobody with common sense would say something like a chemical is intelligent. But that shows you the fundamentals of the whole thing. Like, it's stacked upon ever increasing levels of intelligence. So I want to keep this idea. Intelligence existed before life itself. You could use cognitive behavior tools to find, so high agency tools to find agents. And that way you can detect their intelligence or their learning capabilities and things like that, right? And this is obviously just like a beautiful line, a beautiful sentence that I read. It says, intelligence isn't exclusive to the brain. It emerges wherever matter can sense, remember, communicate, and pursue goals. And so with this worldview, a lot of things make sense, like cancer. The way that Michael Levin likes to even talk about cancer is it's a disassociation problem. The individual cell forgot it's part of the whole. Therefore, it starts its light cone, or a light cone is basically the size of a goal that an organism can pursue. So human beings have huge light cones. We can plan into the future, into 1,000 years, and actually set things in motion to make that happen. But a bacteria, it only cares about sugar in the immediate 3D space and things like that. The things it can care about is much smaller. Your dog, for example, cannot care about what's happening in 2 towns over, or what you're gonna do next month. Like, it's not in its light cone. Does that make sense? So the way he was talking about cancer was that cancer is basically a disassociation of the cell. It forgot that it's part of the whole, and its light cone, it's the size of its goals, returns back to one cell. So that everything around it is not part of me, it's exterior. Therefore, I can eat, damage, defecate, whatever. You see what I'm saying? So it's basically a disassociation of the collective. That's what cancer is. Back to the hierarchy. Every level emerges from cooperation from the level below it. Every new level develops goals invisible to the constituent parts of the lower level that it's using to construct itself, right? Every intelligence has a horizon. So, for example, bacteria react over seconds, humans plan years, civilizations plan centuries. Earth changes over billions of years. Bigger systems effectively operate across larger scales of space and time. Smaller systems can't fully perceive the goals of the larger ones. So, this leads me to the final idea, the Gaia hypothesis. Gaia is just another name for Earth, Mother Earth, right? So with this framework, you could understand that it would make sense that the Earth is alive. And forget the Earth, let's build up to the Earth. Think about the hive mind of the humans, all humans on Earth. So there's billions of us, there's so many constituent parts that would create the thing called humanity. Does that have its own plans? Does that have its own goals that we don't understand as individuals that create all of humanity? Because we're such lower levels of organization than that thing, right? Okay. So what's beyond that? What about, because humanity is just one species that exists on planet Earth. What if the Earth itself is alive and it has its own goal and its own directive? And it's a light cone much larger than ours that we can't understand. Goals that are so big in space and time that we can't perceive them. And what if it wants things from us? There's a cool idea that I think about a lot. Michael Levin was talking about an example of 2 neurons in the brain.
Imagine 2 neurons in the brain, and one is a kind of a strict materialist, and one's a little more mystical. And the one neuron says, "Look, we just run on chemistry, and the outside world is a cold mechanical universe, and it doesn't care what we do. There's no mind outside of us." And the other one says, "Can't prove it, but I kind of feel like there's an order to things, and I kind of feel like our environment is not stupid. I kind of feel like our environment wants things from us, and I kind of feel these waves of these waves back propagating through us that are like almost rewards and punishments. I feel like the universe is trying to tell us something." And the first one says, "Yeah, you're just seeing, faces in clouds. It doesn't exist. And of course, in my example, the second one is correct, because they are in fact part of a larger system. They're part.
So what he was saying was, how would you know? Like, what would be? This is kind of the most interesting part of the whole thing. So, how would you know? Well, because you obviously can't conceive of what the higher system wants from you, right? But the coolest thing he fucking said was, I'm suspicious that it might be synchronicity.
We could, having a degree of intelligence ourselves, if we could gain evidence that we were part of a larger system that was actually processing information. And I don't know exactly what that would look like, but my hunch is that it would look like what we call synchronicity. I think that what it would look like are coincidence, are events that don't have a causal connection at our lower level, like mechanistically, like by physics. There's no reason why that should be, but at a larger scale in terms of meaning and the greater meanings of things, that they do have some kind of interpretation. And I think that's what it would look like to be part of a larger system. I think it would look and feel like synchronicity. So does it exist? I don't know, but that's what I.
So that actually might be where synchronicity is. The larger systems that are above you, like kind of shooing you or back propagating you into goals and end states that it wants.
Like positive reinforcement?
Yeah, but from like a larger system. Mm-hmm. There's your idea, folks. Also, lastly, Gaia. Gaia might be alive. She might have wants and needs or goals, right? We already talked about that. But also, what if it's it's obviously way more intelligent and way more sophisticated than us? Because we're at a certain level of organization when compared to it. So what if all this talk about humans being bad, what if the Earth produced humans because it wanted to? Almost like a immune response to let out energy. Human beings, we went from burning wood, got a little energy out of that. Then we made coal, then we got more energy out of that. Then we got steam engines and see different layers. And then we got the oil, gas, nuclear energy. So we're getting more and more energy from less and less matter. So. And also the Earth has natural things like volcanoes and earthquakes and tectonic shifts to release pressure. Maybe the Earth wanted a intelligent creature who would use a lot of energy to kind of get rid of certain energies on the top of it over millions of years. It could be a possibility. Gaia is intelligent though. Mother Earth is intelligent. And synchronicities might be the higher level organization shooing you on, pushing you on. You got it. We did it.